Hey everyone, ready for something different?
I am.
Today we're diving deep into the world of Bulgarian Gamza grapes.
Sounds interesting.
I thought so too. We've got some cool stuff to work with for this one.
Really?
Excerpts from a wine podcast and some info street from Chateau Burgazon.
Oh, wow. Oh, winery.
Yeah, they're all about Gamza. And our goal is to figure out why this grape, which has been around in Bulgaria for centuries, is still kind of a hidden gem.
Yeah, that's a great question. It does have some pretty intriguing qualities. I mean, I think it would surprise a lot of wine lovers out there.
Yeah, like our sources are describing it as wild.
Wild.
Which, immediately made me wonder, what does that even mean for a grape? And we know that Gamza has been around for centuries.
All right.
It goes all the way back to the 16th century in the Danube Valley.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And that wildness that you were talking about, it might be connected to the fact that it can grow in Bulgaria's climate.
Oh.
It gets this really concentrated flavor, you
Yeah.
know? And a super robust structure.
Mhm.
You just don't find that in a lot of the more delicate varieties. I think it really shows how resilient the grape is.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's not just surviving out there. It's taking all that toughness and turning it into something tasty.
Right.
But why isn't it more well-known then?
Well, breaking into the global wine scene is tough. It's tough for any grape, especially one that hasn't been exported that much. There's just so much competition out there, and people, they just like to stick to what they know.
I bet that's frustrating for the Bulgarian winemakers who are passionate about it.
Oh, absolutely. It's not just about selling a product for them. You know, it's about sharing their culture. It's about sharing their heritage.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that heritage.
Mhm.
Our sources mention that Gamza is cultivated all over Bulgaria, not
Yeah.
just one specific spot.
Exactly.
So,
And each region brings something unique to the table.
interesting.
You can find Gamza vineyards along the Black Sea coast, in the Struma Valley, all over, and they all have their own microclimates and soil types.
So even though it's the same grape,
Mm,
the location can really change how it tastes.
absolutely. It's like terroir is just another ingredient
Ah,
in the wine, you know? And in Gamza's case, it contributes to this really complex flavor profile.
okay.
Think dark fruits, spices, earthy undertones. It's a wine that keeps you guessing.
I'm getting thirsty just thinking about it.
Mm.
But speaking of those flavors, what makes Gamza so unique on a physical level? What's going on with the grape itself?
Well, one key factor is its thick skin.
Oh, okay.
It's like nature's armor protecting the grapes from disease and rot.
Oh, so it's less likely to go bad.
Exactly.
That's pretty smart on nature's part.
Right. And that thick skin also helps with the wine structure. It gives it tannins.
Mm.
And then you've got the high acidity, which gives Gamza this wonderful crispness
Mm.
and a nice lingering finish.
Okay, so we've got resilience, complexity, and now crispness. Sounds like Gamza has a lot going for it.
It does.
But I'm curious, what does all of this translate to, in the glass?
You mean what it actually tastes like?
Yeah, what would I be tasting?
Well, our wine expert described the aroma as this mix of dark fruits, like blackberries and plums, with hints of black pepper, tobacco, and even a hint of chocolate.
Whoa, chocolate and tobacco. It's not your typical, Cabernet Sauvignon.
Exactly. It's not a simple wine. It's got depth,
Hmm.
a certain rustic charm that reflects those Bulgarian roots.
Okay, so if I'm understanding this right, we're talking bold and refreshing, complex, but also approachable.
That's a great way to put it.
Hmm.
It walks this line between power and elegance. That's part of what makes it so fascinating.
Okay, I'm sold.
Great.
But before I go hunting for a bottle, tell me more about this Chateau Burgazon. They seem pretty passionate about Gamza.
Oh, they are. They've actually dedicated themselves to showcasing Gamza as the flagship wine of the Danube Plain.
Wow.
And they've chosen a very specific location for their vineyards, Oryahovo.
So it's not just any old plot of land.
Oh, no.
There's something special about this Oryahovo.
Absolutely. It's right on the Danube Plain. It's got the perfect combination of soil and climate for growing these high-quality Gamza grapes.
Right?
They even brought in a renowned soil scientist to confirm it.
Wow. They really did their homework.
They did.
What else makes their approach so special?
Well, for one, they've planted over 30 different clones of Gamza.
Clones.
Yeah.
Like slightly different versions of the same grape.
Exactly. It's all about biodiversity, you know, maximizing the terroir.
Yeah.
And creating a more complex and nuanced final product.
So they're taking the best of what nature has to offer and just really going all in.
Yeah.
What about the actual winemaking process? Anything unique there?
They use a technique called cold pre-fermentation maceration.
Okay.
So basically, it involves soaking the grape skins at a low temperature before fermentation.
And that does what?
It helps to extract more color and flavor from those thick Gamza skins. They're really letting the grape express itself.
I like that, letting the grape express itself. It seems like they respect the process
They do.
and the potential of Gamza.
Absolutely. They see themselves as stewards of this ancient grape, and it shows in their wine.
Okay, so we've covered Gamza's history, its unique qualities. We've even gotten a glimpse into Chateau Burgoson's philosophy.
Yeah.
But what about the actual experience of drinking Gamza? What kind of food would I pair it with?
Oh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
And a perfect way to jump into our next section.
Okay.
Gamza's versatility is really one of its most appealing aspects.
All right, before we jump into pairings, let's take a quick moment to gather our thoughts. When we come back, we'll explore how to create the perfect Gamza experience, both in terms of food and, of course, how to actually enjoy the wine itself. Don't go anywhere.
Sounds good.
All right, we're back and ready to talk about the actual experience of drinking Gamza. I'm thinking bold flavors, something hearty. Am I on the right track?
You're getting warm. One of the coolest things about Gamza is how versatile it is. It can stand up to rich, savory dishes, but you know what? It can also work with lighter fare.
Okay, so walk me through it. Let's say I'm having a dinner party and I want to feature Gamza.
Okay.
What should I be cooking?
Well, you can't go wrong with some classic Bulgarian cuisine.
Okay.
You know, dishes like kavarma.
Kavarma.
Yeah, it's like a slow-cooked stew
Oh, yeah.
with meat and vegetables, or maybe some sarmi.
Sarmi.
Yeah, those delicious stuffed vine leaves with rice and meat.
That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
I love how food can just transport you to another place,
I know.
even if it's just your dining room.
Exactly. And the earthy, robust notes that you get from Gamza, they complement those traditional Bulgarian flavors so well. It's like they were just made for each other.
Wow.
Yeah.
But what if I'm not, feeling that ambitious in the kitchen?
Sure.
Are there any simpler pairings that would still showcase the wine?
Absolutely. Gamza goes great with grilled meats. Cuts right through that richness, adds a lovely complexity. Imagine like a juicy steak or some grilled lamb chops with a glass of Gamza.
Okay, I'm sold.
Yeah.
That sounds perfect for a summer barbecue.
It does.
Yeah.
And don't forget about its potential with lighter dishes, too. Gamza can hold its own. Roasted vegetables, salads with tangy dressings, even fish,
Okay.
if it has a little spice.
Wow. So we're talking about everything from hearty stews to grilled fish.
Yeah.
That's pretty impressive.
Right.
I'm starting to see why our sources are calling it a chameleon when it comes to pairings.
Exactly. And there's one more tip to get the most out of your Gamza.
Okay.
Temperature.
Oh, okay.
Our wine expert recommends serving it slightly chilled, around 14 to 16 degrees Celsius.
So not straight from the fridge, but definitely not room temp either.
Right.
Got it. I'll have to remember that.
Yeah, it makes a difference. That slight chill helps the wine to open up, really showcase its aromas and flavors.
Okay, we've covered history, terroir, taste, even pairings. But there was something else we talked about earlier, potential health benefits.
Oh, yeah.
Fill me in, because who
Yeah.
doesn't love a wine that's delicious and good for you?
Right. Well, Gamza grapes, they're packed with antioxidants.
Okay.
And we know those play a crucial role in protecting our cells, from damage. It's like they're these little warriors
I like that.
fighting off those free radicals.
And wasn't there something about a specific antioxidant, resveratrol?
Yes. Gamza is a good source of resveratrol. It's been linked to all sorts of potential benefits, especially for anti-aging.
Anti-aging. Now
Yeah.
that's a benefit I can get behind.
Of course, more research is always needed, but there have been studies that show that resveratrol can have a positive impact on heart health, brain function, even skin health.
So potentially a healthier heart, a sharper mind, maybe even fewer wrinkles. Sign me up.
Right.
Anything else we should know about Gamza's health profile?
Well, this is good news for people who are sensitive to sulfites.
Oh.
Gamza is naturally low in them, so that means, fewer headaches and other reactions that some people get with wines that have higher levels.
That's great. It makes it accessible to a wider range of people.
Exactly.
I love that.
So we have a wine that's delicious, versatile, potentially good for you, and rooted in a rich cultural tradition.
It does sound like Gamza really checks all the boxes.
It does.
But I feel like we'd be doing a disservice to our listener if we didn't mention the elephant in the room here. Gamza is amazing, we get it, but it's not exactly easy to find.
That's true. But you know what? That's also part of what makes it so special.
Oh, I...
It's a discovery. It's an adventure. And thankfully, there are resources out there to help people track down a bottle.
Okay, so let's wrap up by giving our listeners some actionable advice.
All right.
What can they do to actually get their hands on some Bulgarian Gamza and experience it for themselves? So where do we even start looking?
Well, online retailers are a great place to start. You can often find a wider selection there than at your local wine shop. Just make sure that you're buying from a reputable source.
Yeah, that's a good point. We want to make sure our listeners getting the real deal,
Right.
not some knockoff. Any tips for knowing if you're getting, authentic Bulgarian Gamza?
Yeah, for sure. Look for the bottles that have that protected geographical indication.
What is that?
Or PGI.
Okay.
For Danube Plain.
Danube Plain, got it.
Yeah, that basically guarantees that those grapes were grown in the right region and that they meet certain quality standards.
So a little label reading goes a long way.
It does.
But what if our listener can't find it online? What else can they do?
If you've got a local wine shop that specializes in smaller producers or even just European wines, you can ask if they carry any Bulgarian Gamza.
Okay.
They might be able to special order it for you.
Yeah, and even if they don't have Gamza specifically, I bet the shop owner might have some recommendations.
Oh, yeah.
For something similar. Wine shop people are usually really knowledgeable
They are.
and passionate. They love helping you discover new wines.
Absolutely.
So don't be shy about asking them.
Right.
Okay, so online retailers, specialty shops, even talking to an expert. But let's say our listener has finally tracked down a bottle of Bulgarian Gamza. Now what?
Now it's time to just enjoy it, to really pay attention to what you're tasting.
Like engage all your senses?
Exactly. Look at the color.
Okay.
Swirl it around in your glass. Take in the aromas. What do you smell? Is it those dark fruits we talked about? Those spices? Or do you get something completely different?
I like that. Turning a simple glass of wine into a whole sensory experience.
And then, of course, there's the taste.
Right.
What flavors stand out? Does it match what we've been talking about? Or is it something completely unexpected?
It is cool how wine is so subjective.
Yeah.
What one person tastes, someone else might get something totally different.
I know. That's what makes it so fun. And with the grape like Gamza, which is still relatively unknown, you get that element of discovery, of finding your own connection to it.
So it's not just about finding the wine, it's about finding your own experience in the wine.
Exactly. And who knows, after trying Gamza, maybe you'll want to explore more Bulgarian wines. There's a whole world of unique flavors out there just waiting to be discovered.
I love that. So to our listener, we encourage you to go on this Gamza adventure, seek it out, savor it, and share your discoveries with the world.
I agree.
Maybe you'll become the Gamza evangelist for your friends.
Cheers to that.
Cheers. And that wraps up our deep dive into Bulgarian Gamza. We hope you enjoyed it. Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep those glasses full of curiosity.